Yo, do you need help with your t-shirt designs, whether it's size of design or graphic design? Let me see if I can help you out. Satin everybody, boy Big Brando, and today we're gonna talk all about designs. One of the biggest questions I always get is what's the size of your designs? Who does your graphic designing? And can you design my stuff for me? So first, let's start with size of design. There's no set standard of size of design. Every design is unique and every design has its own identity. So there's no like little chart that you could go off like, oh, if I'm doing a left chest print, that design size needs to be this size. No, it could be 2 inches, it could be 5 inches, it could be 8 inches. It doesn't matter what size you make it. It all depends on what the actual design is and what looks good to you. For example, somebody hit me up and was like, what's the size of your left chest print? And I said 3 inches. So that person did a bar of text at 3 inches and it looked tiny on their left chest print. And they got mad at me and was like, nah, man, this doesn't look right. It should be bigger than 3 inches. And I'm like, wait, you asked me what size my design was and I told you it was 3 inches. But I also told you that it's not a set size, but you were very persistent on wanting to know what the size of that design was. So I told you 3 inches, that's the size of that left chest print. But since your design looks different than mine, that's why it looks funny on the shirt. Because my design was a circle design, your design is a bar of text. So first, asking somebody what's the size of their design is not gonna help you out. It's gonna confuse you even more. Get that through your head now. Just because a design that you see looks cool, if your design isn't those same dimensions or doesn't look similar to it, that size might look off. And it happens all the time. There's no set design size. How do you find the right size for your design? Take a piece of tape. Tape off a square on the t-shirt and say, all right, this looks cool. I like this size. I like this placement. You take a ruler, you measure that box, whatever those dimensions are, put that into your software that you use to design and create around those dimensions. That way, you know visually what it looks like. All right, 4 inches by 5 inches looks cool. Let me put that into the computer and design around those dimensions. Same thing goes for the back print, center print, big prints, whatever it is. This strategy right here takes minimal effort. Take some tape, tape off a square. It could be Scotch tape, painter's tape, masking tape, whatever tape you have laying around, and tape off the section of the shirt that you want your design to land in. If it's a circle design, just do a square and measure 8 inches by 8 inches, and that way your circle is going to be 8 inches around. You know what that's going to look like. It's not just saying make a square design or a rectangle design. It's basically giving you a visual idea of what the size and placement will look like. So use that tape method to find out what size you want, and don't just tape the shirt while it's flat on the ground or on the heat press or on your bed. Actually wear it, because the t-shirt looks different when you're actually wearing it versus it being flat on a surface. So when you're doing this method, please wear the shirt, tape it off, look in the mirror, take a picture, whatever you have to do so you visually see. And then you just measure to that taped out box and you design to those measurements. That way you have a better idea on what it's gonna look like. If you want your design to be 12 by 6, you do 12 inches across, 6 inches high. Design within those boundaries and you'll never fail yourself. Now, outside of that, when it comes to graphic design, do you have to be an artist to actually do this? Yes and no. If you have really dope ideas, find a graphic designer. Pay that graphic designer to bring your ideas to life. There's tons of graphic designers on Instagram, and majority of them post their work every single day. You can find them in my comments. They're all saying, hey, you need logo work. Do you need a logo? Do you need design work? They're everywhere. You could type in graphic designer in the search bar and tons of pages will pop up. It's up to you to build with whatever graphic designer you want to work with. Look at their work. Is it something that you're familiar with? Is it something that you want? Is it something that they can create for you? Then you hit them up and be like, hey, I got this idea. How much do you charge? Blah, blah, blah. It's up to you to build with those graphic designers. I can't help you with that. I can't broker the deal for you. I can't go out and look for graphic designers for you. I don't know what your designs are. every graphic designer specializes in something different. People specialize in monograms, people specialize in lettering, people specialize in, animation or illustrations or cartoon work or whatever it is. You have to find the graphic designers that work best for your needs. All it takes is a little bit of research. Look at Instagram, look at their portfolios. There's sites like Fiverr that have graphic designers on there. The resources are there for you guys. You guys just have to put in the work to actually find this stuff. That's if you don't know how to design yourself, or you don't know the software, you have ideas, but you do not have the resources to actually do it. If you're an artist yourself, the iPad with the Apple Pencil is such a dope thing to use. You can use apps like Procreate and draw directly on there digitally and make t-shirt designs all day long. There's so many dope artists out there using this, and it's crazy to think that not everybody that draws does this. Like, you could be banging out ideas left and right just by an iPad and an Apple Pencil. And the app is called Procreate. I don't know if you have to pay monthly, I can't remember, or you just buy it outright. But it's such an easy thing. And that's not the only app. That's just the app that I see a lot of people use. That's the app that I use also. I use Photoshop and Illustrator. I'm comfortable with Photoshop. I use Illustrator, but with the power of DTF transfers, everything doesn't have to be a vector now. You could send 300 DPI rasterized files to DTF companies and they can print directly from there. So vector artwork isn't needed for t-shirt design like it used to be. Is it preferred? Yes, because of scalability, because of clarity of print and stuff like that. But there's so many DTF companies now that can print from a Photoshop file. There's some companies that print directly from PNG files now. It's way easier to get t-shirt prints done. If you're doing screen printing, you still got to vector your stuff. No way around that. For example, this t-shirt that I'm wearing right here, shout out to the homie Leo. Leo's the one that did my tattoo on my leg. If you ever seen it, try to scale back. This one right here was done by the homie Leo over at A-Town Tattoo. Dope ass artist, dope ass dude, released t-shirts, so I had to pick some up. He did this dope shaka with this dope pattern inside the shaka. I also picked up his Carson t-shirt. He does a lot of dope stuff. He's a tattoo artist. Majority of tattoo artists know how to draw. Majority of tattoo artists create the dopest stuff. Leo, dope as hell at lettering, dope as hell at Polynesian pattern work, all around dope artists. It's a no-brainer for him to create his own merch like this with his own designs on t-shirts where customers can pick it up and people that just love his design work can pick up. That's why I said, do you have to be an artist in order to create t-shirts? I said yes and no. It helps if you are an artist because you have a good creative eye on what looks dope, like this right here. But if you are not talented in the art space, you can always hire somebody that is talented in the art space. You have to pay for their services, but that artist will be able to bring your idea or dream to reality for you. So I hope this answered some questions for people. If you wanted to check out the homie Leo, you could check him out at A-Town Tattoo in Garden Grove, or check him out on Instagram at Leo Tattoos. You can see all of his work. You can see his t-shirts. You can see all the tattoo work that he does. Super dope guy, very talented artist. Shout out to him. Shout out to him for actually dropping some t-shirts. I bought these with my own money. I support the people. When I see stuff that's dope, I buy it. I don't ask nobody for anything free. I support the creatives. I support the free thinkers. There's tons of you out there that make dope stuff that I've bought from because I support things that I think are dope. So please bring your ideas to life. Find yourself a graphic designer, learn some graphic design software, get some graphic design tools like the iPad and the Apple Pencil. I'm not sponsored by Apple. I'm not pushing their stuff because I'm sponsored by them. I'm not sponsored by Procreate or any of this stuff. I'm just saying what a lot of people are using. And when you buy stuff that a lot of people are using, there tends to be a ton of tutorials on YouTube to learn that stuff. That's why I'll say buy the stuff that's kind of popular because there's a ton of people talking about it already. When it comes to Procreate, iPads, Apple Pencils, when it comes to troubleshooting, learning the software, just finding tips and tricks and people selling different brushes and all that stuff, it's already there because it's such a popular program that a lot of artists already use. And you can go on YouTube and find millions of tutorials on this stuff. Sometimes people are like, I don't want to buy into that. I want to use this off-brand iPad and get this off-brand software, and that's cool because that's the free version or whatever it is. But then you notice there's not a lot of support on YouTube for that kind of stuff because not a lot of people are using that software. Not a lot of people are using that style of iPad or tablet or whatever it is. It makes things a little bit harder. So if you're just getting into this stuff, it's always easier to go with what the masses are using. Same thing goes for vinyl cutters. There's so many people that bash the Cricut and the Cameo vinyl cutter because it's a small hobbyist craft cutter. And they're like, no, we got to get these other ones, or let me get this other off-brand one because it's cheaper. That's cool, but there's so much support around the Cricut and the Cameo on YouTube already that if you have any issues or you need to troubleshoot any problem, chances are there's somebody that already had that problem and they're already on YouTube talking about it, on how to clear that jam or fix this, or there's tips and tricks on how to get things to work a little bit better because the support is already there. Make your life easier. For whatever reason, people always want to go against the grain. They don't want to do what the masses are doing. They want to be different, and that's cool if you want to be different. For myself, I like to do things that make my life easier. Photoshop, Illustrator, millions of videos on YouTube on how to learn that software. They break down every single tool. There's people out there showing just graphic design, just t-shirt design work using those softwares. So that way you could get to the money way quicker. Same thing with Procreate, iPad, Apple Pencil, all that stuff is already on YouTube, ready to go for you so you can learn. Man, you could probably go on YouTube and type in how to find a graphic designer, and there's probably a million sites that'll pop up and people reviewing those sites and their experiences, and there you go. You can find a graphic designer that way. Just know the internet is at our fingertips, and use it for its resources and use it for its actual intended use to make your life easier, all right? If you got any questions, leave it in the comments for me, please. It's always easier to ask questions in the comments. Follow me on Instagram, Big Brando TV. Catch you guys on the next one, man. Yeah.